So next example is Maslinda Ishaq versus Muhammad Tahir Osman in 2009. So this case involved the thought of invasion of privacy. So the plaintiff, Maslinda Ishaq, sued Muhammad Tahir Osman after uh, the defendant, Muhammad Tahir Osman, secretly recorded a video of her in a compromising situation and without her consent. So the court recognized the invasion of privacy as a distinct tort and awarded damages to Maslinda, the plaintiff, for the emotional distress and harm. And the harm which is caused by the unauthorized recording. So this case is significant because it highlights the evolving recognition in privacy rights in Malaysian tort law. You can have a deeper study on this via this link attached in this slide. Next, let's discuss the third type of tort, which is strict liability torts. Unlike negligence and intentional torts, strict liability torts are not concerned with the culpability of the person doing the harm. So instead, a strict liability focuses on the act itself. Let's say if someone commits a certain act, for example, producing a defective product, then that person is responsible for the damages from the act, regardless of the level of care exercised or their intentions. And strict liability torts also cover product liability. For example, if potato peeler takes your finger off when you operate it as directed, the manufacturer could be liable for these damages. An example on strict liability tort in this case of Ang Hock Tai versus Tan Sum Lee, so the defendant has a business of tire repairing on the ground floor of shop lot, and plaintiff was living on the top floor with his family. And one day, petroleum stored by the defendant caught in fire, and the fire reaches top floor and killed plaintiff's wife and kids. So held, defendant liable because of the escape of dangerous substance and causing damage. Next, what is the elements of tort law? So tort law decides whether a person should be held legally responsible for injury against another and what type of compensation the injured party is entitled to. So there are four elements to tort law, which is the first one is duty, then the breach of the duty, and then the causation, and then injury. So there are four elements that constitute tort law. So in order to claim damages, there must be a breach in the duty of the defendant towards the plaintiff, and the breach resulted. There is a causation between the breach and the results in an injury. So three elements must be established in every tort action. First one, uh, the plaintiff must establish that defendant was under a legal duty to act in a particular fashion. And second one, the plaintiff must demonstrate that the defendant breached his duty by failing to conform his or her behavior accordingly. And then the third one, the plaintiff must prove that he suffered injury or loss as a direct result of the defendant's breach. So this is relatable to engineering technologies in performing the task. Engineering technologies need to ensure that all factors, including standards specified by the authority, have been considered in carrying out the duty. So breach of this duty would result in tort action taken by the suffering party. Other issues in uh, tort law also covers issues like nuisances such as noise, pollution, and loose livestock. In some countries, industrial pollution and releases of toxins are covered under tort law as toxic torts, allowing organizations and individuals to bring suit against companies which pollute. And nuisance torts can sometimes be challenging to prove, as the definition of a nuisance often varies from person to person. So, as can be seen from the previous example, a tort doesn't have to cause physical injury or distress. It might cause economic damage by forcing someone to replace something, interfering with someone's business, or causing someone to miss work. Or it may cause damage to someone's reputation or quality of life. In order for a tort case to succeed in court, the lawyers must generally be able to prove that the accused party had committed the wrong and that the client suffered the result. And then The damages may be awarded by a jury or judge, depending on the case.